Welcome to Uhuru News Network, where truth meets courage. If you're passionate about real stories that shape our continent, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful insights that matter. Today's report dives deep into the very soul of Africa's challenges and possibilities. How does a man wanted for fraud in the United States become not just a senator in Nigeria, but the chairman of the Senate Ethics Committee? Senator Neda Imajuan's alleged flight from U.S. justice over millions of dollars in client funds is not just shocking, it's a mirror of how deep our governance crisis runs. In any functional democracy, such a scandal would spark resignations, investigations, then public outrage. But in Nigeria, it's brushed aside like dust on marble.
Nigeria has just become that place where you think it is okay that maybe you've been accused of any kind of thing, then you now come to Nigeria, everybody will welcome you with open arms. Senator Imajuan allegedly stole millions of dollars from clients in the US, and he was banned for life from practicing law. He absconded to Nigeria. That man is a sitting senator. In fact, he is the committee chair on ethics. See the title where they give him? Ethics and Public Petition. This man was barred from practicing law in the US for stealing millions of legal fees that was paid to his client, Daphne Sheffield. That is the allegation. They said Neda Imajuan admitted, and he was disbarred, and his name was stricken off from the roll of attorneys and counselors at law. And this decision was taken in 2010, May. He ran away, of course, and came back to his dear country, Nigeria. He refused to appear, following all the petitions that were leveled against him. He ran away, and he came to Nigeria. That person today, he's a sitting senator in Nigeria, making laws that he never obeyed while he was practicing law in the US. And he's now sitting. What is even the thing is that he's sitting as ethics committee chair. Do you know what ethics is? So when issues like this are happening, and they now give somebody like a Senator Natasha a 6-month suspension and all of that, it's like before you even entered the match, you already lost that game, right? Because what it means is that for as long as we continue to have questionable characters in positions of leadership, and people that are supposed to be the ones to protect and preserve, rule of laws and all of that, as long as they have questionable character, the laws will never be in the favor of the upright and the just. It won't. It means that for every time you're about to score a goal, they will shift the goalpost. So Nigeria's political system has been criticized for, of course, prioritizing loyalty and patronage over competence and integrity, leading to a culture of impunity. I've heard somebody say to me that a lot of young guys that do this Yahoo, what they do is that when they do those internet frauds and they hit it big, right, they go and take chieftaincy titles. We have examples of leaders who have been embroiled in scandalous situation, issues on corruption, abuse of power. And would I call it that? What exactly is causing it? Would it be poverty? When we have a docile citizen where you are not engaging, you're not participating in some of the political processes, we'll continue to have the emergence of leaders with questionable characters in Nigeria. Because for as long as we do not prioritize citizens' engagements, to say, I must continue to play my role so that we stop having the crop of leaders that we have and start to intentionally install people that will get us out of some of the challenges that we are faced with, they will continue to have things just go the same way. There's a myriad of issues that is causing it. What breaks my heart is the comfort that we think it is okay that after we've done all the bad things in this world, the best thing to go and do is just go and pick a position of leadership. Everything will go away. Because even political leaders understand this. And that's why most times when they are in an opposition party and maybe there's a new sheriff in town, they quickly jump ship to the new party so that nobody questions them. That way, EFCC will not go after them, ICPC will not go after them. It begs the question, is EFCC a political party, or EFCC is actually after fighting corruption. Because if people that are in the ruling party, political party, are not questioned, they are just kept, you know, nobody questions them, then what are we truly fighting? Are we even fighting corruption in this country? So there's a lot to unpack in this question. But the whole idea, right, is I want to know what your thoughts are. Are we ever going to get to that time where we, right, have people with sound integrity and moral upstanding run the affairs of our country? Will we ever get there?
Why do we, as a people, normalize disgrace in leadership? Why are criminal records abroad turning into political credentials at home? When will we demand background checks, accountability, and ethical standards before handing anyone power? Does Nigeria deserve this repeated cycle of betrayal? At a court proceeding in South Africa, Julius Malema reminded the prosecutor, and indeed the world, that Africans are one people, and that white settlers are the real foreigners. His voice echoed the long-standing dream of Pan-African unity. It wasn't just rhetoric, it was a call to consciousness.
In which you describe white people as visitors in South Africa, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Now, how do you reconcile this constitutional notion that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, and that white people are visitors in South Africa?
You arrived here as settlers in 1652. It's a historical fact. And you were using South Africa as a refreshment station. You were not here to settle. You were passing. Because of our Africanness and the spirit of Ubuntu, we have embraced you and we have shared our land with you. And we have accepted that you have naturalized in this country. But it doesn't change the fact that you came here as a visitor.
So let me ask you that, let's clarify that.
Yes.
Do you accept that there are many people in South Africa, black and white, Indian colored, Chinese, who came to South Africa from another country at some point?
Not blacks. Not blacks. We came from one country called Africa.
I understand. So in other words, the claim is anyone who is on the continent of Africa belongs in South Africa, is that correct? Was not a visitor?
No. South Africa is Africa. Mm-hmm. We are one country called Africa. This South Africa you are talking about was imposed on us. So we didn't come from anywhere. Speak for yourself. We didn't come from anywhere. There's no African who came from anywhere. We came from here. I mean, my Lord, I cannot come from the second bedroom in this house, and then I find you in another bedroom in the same house, and then you say I came from somewhere. In the same house. I didn't come from somewhere. I was sleeping on the other side. We're here. So, we are not visitors. We didn't come from anywhere. This is our continent.
Malema's statement forces us to ask, what would Africa look like if we truly acted as one? Imagine a continent without 54 fragmented states, but one with a shared vision, shared governance, and shared prosperity. But is this dream too idealistic, or is it a vision worth fighting for? What's stopping Africa from becoming a single powerful entity with one voice? And who benefits from keeping us divided? Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni recently acknowledged a truth many leaders in Europe have long ignored: Africa no longer trusts Europe. In a world grappling with energy crises, she admitted that the path forward must be built on mutual benefit and respect. Africa holds the key to sustainable energy, yet decades of exploitative policies have built walls of distrust.
Africa today is victim of many external spoilers that work against its stability. They don't trust us a lot. And I cannot say that they are completely wrong. That's why my opinion is that we have to change this approach. If you want to do serious things, you have to do things that are useful for both. For example, now we have a problem in Europe about energy sources after the war, but Africa is potentially an enormous producer of energy, of every kind of energy, green energy, hydrogen, geothermic, they've got gas, they've got everything.
But what if Europe actually listened? What if this time partnerships were based on dignity and shared progress, not neo-colonial interests? Can Africa leverage this turning point to negotiate from a position of strength? And do we, as Africans, even trust our own leaders enough to lead us into such strategic alliances? Renowned thinker Joseph Maponga boldly stated that democracy, as we know it, is a colonial hand-me-down that stifles true African progress. He calls for strong, visionary leadership that reflects African realities rather than imported ideals.
Right now we have slogans as Pan-Africanism, Pan-Africanism. Some of us even think that we can still make democracy work. It does not work. It has not worked. We don't need democracy. We need dictators who dictate the right thing. Our governance was thrown through the window. Why am I saying this? You need to know how the system was structured, so that when you are decolonizing it, you know how to reconstruct it. Right now we have slogans as Pan-Africanism, Pan-Africanism. Some of us even think that we can still make democracy work. It does not work. It has not worked. We don't need democracy. We need dictators who dictate the right thing. I mean, you have a toilet that is dysfunctional, then you must have a committee that discusses the toilet. Then a subcommittee that discusses the toilet. Then a requisition committee and a procurement committee. Then we must have a tendering system. After the tendering system, 16 months later, we are still waiting for, just damn you, fix the toilet. Democracy is a colonized way that stifles progress and development.
When you look around at the dysfunction in many democracies on this continent, election violence, corruption, weak institutions, you begin to wonder, is democracy really serving us? Or has it become a tool in the hands of the elite to maintain the status quo? What would a truly African system of governance look like? Is it time to stop copying and start creating? Are we ready to build systems rooted in our values, history, and collective aspirations? Disclaimer. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. All views expressed are based on publicly available reports and commentaries. We do not intend to defame, malign, or incite any form of hatred toward any individual or institution mentioned. Viewer discretion is advised. In a continent so rich, why do we feel so poor? In a land so vibrant, why is there so much decay? The answers don't lie in our soil or our skies, they lie in the decisions we make, the leaders we tolerate, and the systems we cling to without questioning. But every question we ask here is a seed, one that, if nurtured by you, the people, can grow into a forest of change. So we ask you, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We are listening. Thank you for watching Uhuru News Network. Until next time, remember, greatness begins the moment we stop settling for less.